All right. Hello. Welcome back to episode 8 of the Hacking with the Homies podcast. How it's kind of like weird because we usually talking before this, but how are you doing, Mac?
I think I'm okay today, actually. It's been crazy. We're gearing up. We're getting ready. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of stuff popping on the schedule.
Yes.
Always good to hang out with you, Jessica. How are you been doing?
I'm in transition, which is a very good thing, but like you said, I can already see that. I mean, I already knew once November started, it wasn't going to stop until like I don't know what year is going to be a rest year at this point, but I can already see 2024 is like is it's in full swing even though we're at the end of the year. And it's funny that we were talking about, continuing the tech life balance talk that we started last time because that was Hagmanomies. Yeah, yeah. We started the tech life balance conversation last time, and I think it's so important what we're talking about today, which is like how we're managing it all because this is real life. You know what I mean? Like we got a lot of stuff going on. We want to be our best selves. We don't want to be getting burnt out. I know you probably experienced burnout. I've really, really, really bad with getting burnt out. So today, just having the opportunity to talk about like what some of our techniques, apps, um, and how we're able to manage it all. Maybe even get some tips from each other. Folks usually chime in the chat, so we would love to hear if you all have any questions or ideas around this. But yeah, so just to kind of give it a little bit of a background when I say keeping it together. So, like I said, for us, both of us are parents. We both are entrepreneurs. We also, have different personal pursuits that we might be interested in. And then whatever else, comes along with that because we're all people. So, people have different things going on. And it's funny to me because a lot of times when people would see me being like very kind of anal about my calendar system and getting everything on the calendar, it gives people this impression that I just like to be like that. Like I'm just a super planny person. And I'm like, it's not that. I would love to fly by the seat of my pants. But when you got 20,000 things in flight, it's not possible to do that and actually, do everything that you want to do well. So I don't know. I really am curious for you, Mac, like how are you with organizing and planning right now as far as let's start with scheduling?
You know,
Um,
you know this answer already.
I know, but they don't know.
Terrible. Uh, I'm getting better. I swear I'm getting better. That's my goal for this year is to get better. But like I don't know, I didn't let you finish your question. So like, did you want to know what I used? But I knew the answer was terrible. But go ahead.
No, and for the record, I will say so me and Mac, we've been working together for like since like at least 2017-ish, 2016, probably 2017.
Yeah.
Um, And that used to drive me crazy when we first started working together, where it's like, I was such a like everything has to be on the calendar so I can make sure that I have everything figured out. And I like to plan stuff out in advance. Back then, you probably didn't think about it this way, but back then I was teaching boot camps. And when we had a calendar for the next year, like I knew as an instructor what I was teaching a year out when I was gonna have my downtime, uptime, all of that. So, it's funny because it's like I've realized now I've gotten used to it, right? Because everybody's different. Everybody has their strengths and opportunities. But I just was wondering, like, for you, where like I think my planning was born out of like, yes, that's a little bit of how I am, but it really was born out of necessity. There was points where I was forgetting everything, like important events, meetups, things like that. And I was just like, yeah, that can't continue. So that's when I really got to a point where I was like, okay, let me start getting my calendar together at the very least. And then we could work from there. So like as far as your experience with like kind of keeping stuff together and planning, where's your motivation coming from to get it in order?
So motivation. So I think my motivation is that um I'm unorganized and I want to be better. I have now two smaller kids, a 6 year old and a 10-year old. And my wife's starting the business, or she did start a business. And so now I have to get the same amount of work done or more with smaller amount of time. So I have to be more optimal. And I think it would make me a better human if I actually get my time together, because there's a lot of like a lot of people judge character by that, right?
That's true.
They judge you by, well, okay, does he get back to emails? Does he get back to you? Does he respect your time? Which is a big thing for me. I didn't respect people's time. I can just fully admit it today. Matt Kendricks did not respect people's time. My wife would yell at me. The kids would yell at me. Well, the older kids would yell at me. They're grown now. They can drive their own selves. But I would be like picking them up from school. Like they were like, school got out 2 hours ago. Why are you just getting here? Um, so I think this iteration of Matt Kendricks, this version of Matt Kendricks, I just want to be better parent, human, business partner. And I think the schedule is one of the things that could help me.
I think I appreciate you saying that because, like I said, for me, and reason why I want to bring this up is because I feel like a lot of times they see somebody that's super organized and kind of has a system, and then just assume that's how you naturally are. And like I said, I like to know what's happening in the future so I can plan backwards. So that is a natural part of me. But like to be quite honest, I like to do things. I don't like to be the planner. I'm not necessarily a person that's just like, let me sit down and organize and spreadsheets and all that. That's not me. It's more so when you realize that it's a necessary part of your life and it's even a beneficial part of your life to start to optimize and start to prioritize planning. And I just want to put that out there just because I feel like you might not be a natural planner, you might be all over the place. That's a lot of people that are organized, they are naturally that way. It's just a matter of starting to find the system that works for you. And there's a lot of tools and a lot of apps that we already have that people don't really necessarily know how to take full advantage of. So we're starting with the calendars today, which is I'm curious to see how you're doing because you said you are doing better with the calendars and scheduling. And I think that, I know for you, I'm like, I got to put time on his calendar. Like I learned that, like if I could slide a slot in on the calendar instead of me texting you and be like, hey, we need to meet, blah, blah, blah. If it don't get
Mhm.
on the calendar, it's not going to happen. So, what's helping you with the scheduling in the calendar arena?
So Calendly is the thing I use. I was like, I saw Calendly for a while. First of all, um, you gotta know how to say Calendly. Yeah, I think that was my biggest thing. I saw it. I was like Calendly, Calendly.
Oh my
By the way,
God.
I'm eating some gum at the same time. But like when you asked me the question, I had just stuffed a big
My
bunch of gum
bad.
in my mouth. But it's okay because it's like one of those pieces of gum that loses its flavor in the next
In
five
like
minutes.
13 seconds.
Right. Um, but because I'm dealing with all the Halloween candy that I have left over. This is the reason why this is a good thing for
I
those who
should
don't
have
have
came and
kids.
got some candy from y'all.
We should have, because that's the good thing about having kids. Not saying that you have kids just to have candy, but for Halloween, this is the best time because they can't eat it all. They can't consume it all. Anyway, so Calendly is the thing that I use today. And so for those who don't know who Calendly is or what it is, they basically flipped the whole concept of scheduling on its head. So, typically what happens is that you go back and forth as a banter between multiple people, maybe, or it's one person like, well, when can we meet? Nah, I can't meet here. I can't meet there. So you're talking through it, or you're in that whole, I'm going to put something on your calendar and then people are going to say, I reject it and then give you another time. So you go through that whole process for a minute until you get to a point where you both agree on a time. And I'm talking about people that are outside of the same organization. So people are in
Mhm.
different organizations. If you're in the same organization, obviously you can figure this out because the availability is typically available in the calendar system that you have that's local to your organization. But if you're in two different organizations, good luck.
Yeah.
So Calendly, what you can do is you can set it up and tie it to your different calendars. Like I have like 6 different calendars, and then you give somebody a link to your Calendly address, which is a link to your calendars, and they can actually see all the available times that you have available, and it's aggregated against all of your calendars. And then they can pick what they want. Once they pick it, Calendly on the back end will put that particular event on all of your on your on one of your calendars, whatever calendars you decide as the calendar that should go on, and then from there, that time is blocked, and nobody else will be able to block it using Calendly. Now the trick is though is that sometimes people have direct access to your calendar, so they'll go in and block stuff, but that's okay as long as Calendly knows about that calendar, because even if they go out of band and they block something on your calendar, Calendly will also be able to pick up that, oh, that time is blocked now as well, and they won't show that to people. So that's how I use it for right now personally, but I've also moved to using it inside of my company as well. And what we do, so for like leads, the biggest issue we were having is that if leads come into the business, I wanted different people to be able to, people could be able to schedule time with that person to, maybe to go deeper into what they're trying to do.
Right.
So Calendly also does that as well. So I'm a fan.
Now, I was using Calendly for a long time. It sounds like what you were describing, this that there was a certain element of Calendly that was limited for me, and it was like what you were saying, where you have multiple calendars that you want to make sure you have availability across all of them. Around the time I stopped using Calendly, I could use it for, like, a specific organization, but then I feel like it was limited in the number of calendars it could check for me. And then I also do, so I'm a Google Calendar person. I guess you could say like a power user. So I was having a lot of issues because first of all, I compartmentalized by using multiple different calendars, right? So we have a Detroit Black Tech calendar, any email address. Basically, I have a Meta Dev Girl email address. I have my personal email address. I got a Girl Develop It, right? But then, so all of those calendars are maintained, and then I kinda share access between them and stuff like that, and it was interesting because I think the limitation I was running into at the time was that it wasn't allowing me to check, like, against my work and personal calendars at the same time, and that it sounds like that has changed since then, because 'cause it's been a while since I used Calendly, but I definitely used Calendly for a long time until I felt like I had ran into a limit, and so I started I live and die by Google Calendar. So if you see me open my calendars, it's all color coded and stuff, and I have a different Gmail account, so different things go on different accounts. And Mac is getting you're getting pretty good at like, okay, I'm gonna send this to her DBT email. I'm gonna send this to her Meta Dev Girl email. But I try to organize things that way. And then I also use like sub calendars as well. But one nice feature about Google Calendar,
Wait. What's sub calendars?
like, you have the default calendars that they give you, but you
Oh
can
yeah.
also create different calendars. So,
Yes.
like, I have my stream schedule, um, and that might be something I don't, I wanna have that on there, but I don't wanna put that on my main.
Yes.
And then I also share calendars, you can share access to. So my calendars that I own, I share access to them across organizations. So if I'm ever on one calendar and I just wanna put something on there, I don't just have read access, but I also have write access. Um, but the appointments, so now we in Google Calendars, we have appointments.
Mhm.
I think they call it appointments and schedule. I wanna say schedule, which is similar to the Calendly features. So, the basic idea is that you can go ahead and, have someone be able to you can set up appointment pages. It's very much like Calendly. You can set up appointment pages, you can block off different slots, that people can book, and then, yeah, it just automatically checks the calendar. But I'm trying to think, I haven't really tried to use it across calendars right now. So I have to check and see how that's working because I got so much of my own system that like it doesn't bother me anymore because I had to work around that when when Calendly wasn't able to support it. But yeah, I've been using appointments like when we did the MVP developer program, and then when I was doing certifications, I had an appointments page so people could go in and they could book times. One thing that can be interesting, I know Calendly had the ability to do this, and I don't think we can do this in appointments on Google Calendar yet, is having multiple people book at the same time slot. Like, what if you are, like you said, like, scheduling if I'm scheduling a certification and up to 5 people can sit in. Right
Yeah.
now, I have to go in and make sure that my availability on those events is still open so that anybody can keep booking it. Otherwise, as soon as one person books the slot, it's booked. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
do you have
Yeah.
that ability with Calendly?
For multiple people to
To
book
book the same time slot, like a yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I have to go look at it. I never use it
That's
that
fair.
way. So the way I use it, I mean, like right now you can do how can I explain it? So you can say like on let's say, again, back to the company situation where I have somebody coming to a web page and we don't know them, but they're interested in the service. They can put their name up, and what happens is that Calendly will load balance between however many people are in the list, so that the first request that comes in will go to the first person that's on my team. The next
Right.
person who comes in, they'll go to the second person on the team. So it does that, but I don't know if it would allow like multiple people to book the same thing. Now, what Calendly can do is that I think you can add people to the invite, so that multiple people
Mhm.
could be part of it. But I don't think that's what you're asking. You're really asking, can multiple people book over
Independent people, yeah,
independent,
being able
yeah,
to, like,
same
out
time? Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, this is like I said, this is something that I'm very into, but just because I honestly remember, so I do, we could talk about some other stuff too, but I was a big into bullet journaling for a while. I still do, but,
I don't even know what that is. What is bullet journaling?
that so bullet journaling is a process. It's really based on this idea of a rapid logging system. So think
Mhm.
just bullet points for
Okay.
everything, and then you have a code. So I can just open up a notebook, and every line I can write one item on there. And then it's like if it's a regular bullet point, then that's a task. If it's a circle, then that means it's an event, something that that I need to be at or attend. Then so you have little notations like that. And the idea, the rapid logging is like it's very minimal and it helps you just kind of get everything down and then you can kind of plan accordingly. So then there's a bit more of a system around bullet journaling, but yeah, I got into bullet journaling just like I was a productivity person like originally because I've done a lot of leadership development. Like when I was back on campus, I was like, I'm in this org, I'm in that org. I held a lot of leadership roles and stuff like that. But I think a lot of leadership training also came along with that. So I remember when I was taking my boot camp, I literally remember the day that I sat there and opened up my journal and started, like, literally, like, drawing out a whole planner spread, like, drawing out all the boxes and stuff to plan out my week in, like, the most optimal way. But, I do use a physical calendar as well. Um, I I got a thick boy right now. Excuse me, I could go grab it, but yeah, so I still have to sit down and plan everything out just kinda like hour by hour, but for me, the calendar is very important because it's like, how do we make sure that we know, like, we got a book coming out and we got the Hacker House starting, we need to do applications, like, all this stuff needs to happen, and for me, it's hard when it's like I realized we were talking earlier, right? And I realized, like, okay, if we're about to we when we backfilled the dates
Yep.
for training for MVP developer, that means I need to be working on it, like, starting next week because it's only 2 weeks to work on getting the training built out, but that's okay, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? That's okay, it's just the fact of, like, okay, cool. Now I know what I need to be focusing my time on But yeah, I mean, I just think it's so important because, like you said, you talked about being a better human, and one of the other things that bullet journaling kind of brought to my mind as well was the idea that a lot of times we think we can just remember everything, and it's like that's not how your brain works. So when you're trying to hold on to too many things at once, what ends up happening is you have no capacity to do anything else. You might remember everything, but then you want to sit down and work on a project, and it's like your brain is foggy because you're trying to remember everything that's going on. Let me not forget this. So with bullet journaling, they will recommend a brain dump. So a brain dump is like, let me just sit down, look at this empty page, and I'm just gonna write down everything that comes to mind that I possibly have to think about, remember, plan, whatever. And then once I get it all out, I have, more clarity in my mind to actually focus on things. So when it
I
comes
was
to oh, go
uh,
ahead.
no, I was looking around for a book called Boundary, and
Mhm.
because this is what it also comes down to being, because this goes back to what you're saying is triggering this moment for me. So the other thing that, because I think what you're talking about is really having some boundaries set up so you can spend the time to really do the work. Because like it's one thing to be like booked, like people are like, and I know you're booked all the time. People want you to do presentations, they want you to do trainings, they want you to be there in person. But you need boundaries, not just for your sanity, but you need boundaries. I think to your point is like to actually get some work done. Like if you don't
Yes.
have, so that's the other. I think you asked me what was my motivation for doing this or wanting to use Calendly more, more consistently. It was because I don't, it's hard for me to get shit done. So I want to be able to get stuff done. And the only way to do that is if I know what needs to be done. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because I was having this epiphany while you were talking. I was like, I started reading this book called Boundary, and I'm like, where is it? For I can show it, but I don't know where it is. But
I think I see it. I'm gonna share it. Boundaries. It has like a pencil drawing
let
on
me
it in
see.
the front. Here,
Boundary.
I can share it too. I just ain't trying to put my zip code out there. Amazon be trying to put all your business out there. They be putting your whole
Yeah.
address.
I think there's two of them. There's set boundaries.
Let
There's
me
set
see the
boundaries and find
author.
peace. I think there's set boundaries and find peace. Let's see here. I
Set
think it's
Well, what's the author? Because this one
Nidra.
is oh, okay, this is a different one maybe. Set
I think it's
boundaries.
yeah, I think it's Nidra Glover. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
one. Nidra Glover.
I see with the 4 colored boxes on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Imma share a link to it.
Okay. So yeah, that book there has helped me start thinking. Because me and my wife was even talking about boundaries. Like, you know, people people need them. And that's been the thing. Like protecting my time equals setting up boundaries so that I can get stuff done.
No,
I don't even believe I'm talking through this stuff like this because this is not in my DNA. Unlike you, which is in your DNA, this is
maybe.
not this is not in my DNA.
That's funny. I don't feel like this is in my DNA. Like, I do like, if I have to apply myself to getting things organized, I think, yes, I have that ability, but I hate it. Like, it's not like I really would rather spend my time doing other things. Like, eventually, when someone else can manage my schedule and everything for me, and I just say, "Hey, this thing is coming up," they make sure everything works out. That'll be so amazing. But it's more so like out of necessity because, and I said for me, it started young, so I think that that makes a difference too. Because when I was at Wayne State, I became an interest in AKA like immediately when I got to campus, basically. So I was already going to events, and then I knew that I wanted to be involved in the leadership on campus and things like that. So like I joined the Black Student Union. I was president of the Black Student Union at one point, and that was even before I joined AKA, and I became an AKA in my junior year, like early junior. So yeah, it was like you got class and I had to work, so you got class, you got work, you got schedules, and then you got all these other things that you have to balance. And so, like I said, it wasn't more so that it's like, "Oh, this is just something that I do naturally." It was really born out of necessity, and I was grateful because I spent a lot of time in NSBE as well, and I did a lot of leadership roles in NSBE. So, like, I was on the regional board and the national board, um, and we also did a CPC. The CPC is no joke. Like, the planning committee for the convention, we did the 2019 Detroit convention. That is no joke, you know what I mean? So it's like, I would love to just be living my best life, being like, "Oh, just show up. Oh, what's happening today?" But you have to, you have to be prepared. So for me, I think my motivation mostly is the fact that I like to know what to expect.
Mhm.
So the way that I know what to expect is like I'll tell you, like, give me the dates. If you already know roughly, even if it's rough dates, if you already know what those dates are, let me know. And then that way I block time on the calendar, cause I be overbooked and that drives me crazy. Like, and that it usually I'm really upset when I get overbooked because I if I said yes to it, I wanted to do it. So I hate when it's we might have the MVP developer program coming up, but I also take teaching assignments, which I don't have to take. But I'll take a teaching assignment and then you're like, "Oh, hey, here's the dates for the program." And I'm like, "I literally just signed my contract like last night."
Right.
And you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just think it's funny because I don't feel like it's as quote unquote natural to me as people think it is. It's just I've been doing this. I've been really into making like trying to organize and grow in this way for more than 10 years now.
Well, I wish I would have started sooner. How about that? So I wish I would
Well,
have started sooner.
there's no time like today.
Yeah,
The
so
best day to start is in the past, and the second best day to start is today.
there it is. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But I was just, I was looking at, the Google version of Calendly. By the way, shout out to Calendly. They are black owned, by the way. And I forget what his name is, but I'm about to look it up because that's what Google is good for. CEO. His name is, I can pronounce it, but it's Topi Awatana. Um, Black gentleman. He founded it in 2013. So definitely a big fan of him. But on the
Yeah, so I probably was using Calendly literally when it first came out, like, since it first came out.
yeah, for sure. But I'm looking at the Google because we are a big, you know, Detroit Black Tech, Hacker with the Homies. We're big Google suite customers. So this having this feature here is good because it looks like it's very centric to Google. So like for you, it's probably great because all your calendars are on Google. So
Mhm.
um, but for people who have like calendars everywhere, maybe Calendly is a better fit for them.
Yeah,
But
'cause this Calendly lets you, like, integrate with, iCalendar
Microsoft,
or whatever and Microsoft.
yeah, Microsoft, all the major Calendly boys,
Okay.
you can um, you can connect to here. I'll share my screen. Let's see how
Okay.
crazy. Let me see how crazy this is. Let me see. I want to see
'Cause, yeah,
how.
for I
Yeah.
use, I use Google Calendars for everything, but I mean, I'm a Mac user. I'm a, Apple user. I got all the devices, the whole ecosystem, so, um but I just integrate my calendars. I integrate my Google calendars into Apple because, like, Apple come on, y'all. Like, y'all gotta do better with this calendar, but, um on my Mac, I can literally, I'm signed into all of my profiles, and that's where all my calendars actually come together in one view, which is really, really nice. So that's another thing that people can do with their calendars as well. If you have a work calendar and personal, et cetera, you could definitely import those into your calendar on your Apple or iPhone or whatever, and then you'll be able to see a big view of everything. So that's how I just keep a view like that up all the time.
No, that's no, that's dope. Yeah, I so the only thing that has that view for me is my phone. So I have all my calendars connected to my phone, and obviously I can see all my calendars meshed up that way.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so this is Calendly, and this they have a whole bunch of integrations. I'm not sure what all these integrations do, but for calendars, it's Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, iCloud calendar, and then the old school, I guess, Exchange calendar as well. And you can have up to 6 of them connected. So
Okay.
six calendars. So if you have, two Google calendars, two Outlook calendars, and then you have maybe an Apple calendar, that would make up six. But they also have all these extensions here too, so that you could do payments. So if somebody wants to schedule like, time with you and you want to be like a consulting type of situation where, okay, you need to pay in order to schedule time, you can set up Calendly to do that for you. So for all
That's
you
nice.
entrepreneurs out there, you know what I mean? If you, because
Discovery call with a client or whatever the case may be. Here's you pay
yes,
$50 fee, $150 fee, whatever.
yes, that is one of the benefits of using Calendly for those type of things as well. So, just want to show that, and there's an API for this. I haven't used it or anything, so you can use Zapier. So for those out there who's using some type of a no code low code tool, you can use Zapier to kind of trigger Calendly, and then there's a whole API and webhooks. Look at that, so you can trigger it from some application as well. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So you said 6 calendar max?
Yeah, that's what I found.
That was my issue because
Mhm. Yeah.
your girl got all the calendars, okay?
Yeah,
Um, I
right.
literally have so many Google calendars, like, I have a
Yeah.
personal one, I have MetaDev Girl, I have Detroit Black Tech, I have a Girl Develop It one, I have a fully developed one. Yeah, so I think that, like, and then now I have a Beauty Go Go one. Like, yeah, I think that was my limitation, and that's okay too, but because what I like about Google Calendar basically is since they all are Google Calendars, I
Mhm.
can, um I can share access, right? So if I share access to different calendars with each other, then I have other ways of viewing the items. But yeah, I really loved Calendly for a long time. I think I just like I said, I ran into the limits
I
of
I
what
just
was
I don't I just don't know
possible.
why. I just don't know why you have a 6 calendar limit. It has to be something architect because I mean, I've ran
Yeah,
so it has to be something with their routing engine where they're like, "No, we can't take more than that." Because I was
yeah.
like, "Well, maybe I need to buy a different account." But I think even in all these accounts, what's the account chat with us? Let's see here. I wanna see where all the let's see here, help center. I'm looking for like where the pricing is where I can kind of see let's see here, maybe at the bottom here is where it is. Let's see. You teams, customers, calendars, see pricing. There it goes. All right. So here goes the standard here. Here goes all of them. You still can see my screen, correct?
We can see
Um
the Calendly tab
yeah, yeah,
still,
which is what I'm showing,
not the
which is
not the pricing.
oh, you can't see the pricing
Mm-mm.
page?
No,
Oh wow.
it's still on your My Calendly. You might have just shared the actual like
I
tab.
did. So let me stop sharing that and then let me go and uh and do learn how to share properly. Okay, so share screen. I'll do the pricing. Uh, let me do a Chrome tab. How about that? Or let me do a window. How about that? And we'll just maybe that'll be good. All right. So all right. Okay, cool. So now you can see it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I think see all features here. Okay, here it goes. Calendar connections. Yeah, it maxes out at 6. So when you have a free, it's 1, and then the rest is all 6. So there must be some limitation in their platform why 6 is the only number that they will support. But I just for busy people with
Yeah,
family,
for
because my wife has a calendar that I have to
right.
share with, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even think I'm not even I don't even think that was taken into consideration because I think that knocked me out of my after more than 6, right? So,
Mhm.
anyway, that is this I don't know. I just
No,
wanted to
it's
share.
helpful because, like I said, I used Calendly for a very long time, and I think not a lot of people necessarily are, like, as crazy as us with how many different things that they're trying to juggle at once. But if you have like up to 6 calendars that you have to worry about, Calendly is a really, really, really good option. Or if you like, if most people have Google calendars. I really can't speak to, anything Microsoft based. So I'm sorry about that. But I have Google calendars for everything. So I organize every calendar based off of whatever, like I organize topics. So we have MVP developer training coming up, and that's
Mhm.
DBT focused. So I'm gonna put it on the DBT calendar. And even with you, I don't know exactly which calendars are what, but I do try to think about. I know you have different emails and stuff for different events or different companies. So I try to think about that when I send you invitations, that they kind of get filed into the right place.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I need to do better at that myself. But no, this is cool. No, this is good. So I think that gives people options. Like I think if you're just a pure, Google shop, I think, looking at the features that Google has is already included in your I think it's just Google Suite. I don't think this is available for
You can use appointments on personal calendar too.
Oh, okay,
I think
cool.
it's I think they might call it something different. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. They might call it something different, but nope, you have the option on both of the calendars now, so it's
Okay.
really, really nice. So it
Yeah.
was something else that I wanted to come back to really quickly, which was just like we said, again, you were saying, like, being a better human. I feel like a l Can you hear the fire truck?
Yeah, you got a really good mic. You got a very good mic.
And my window's open, man. Where I am right now, the fire station is a couple streets away. It's on the same street as the coffee shop, but
Yeah.
okay, so but no, I was just thinking about when you were saying making you a better human, like, it's so many aspects to that. So, like you said, it's having the bandwidth to work on stuff, but it's also, like, literally making you a better human because a lot of times, like, if you're overstressed really?
What
We
over
it's coming again.
Oh. Well, not the same one. It's probably the other it's like
I think it's the ambulance probably
yeah,
coming
yeah,
behind the
for
fire
sure.
truck.
Yeah,
Um,
the other way
my
around, 1 to
my
2.
apologies.
Yeah. It's okay.
This is why I'm also grateful that I'm gonna be moving soon because it's quiet over there, you know? You don't have a reason to come over in that corner unless you live over there. But anyways,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
know.
no, it's just the idea that, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't need a calendar. I don't need to do this. I just write it down or I just remember it," and it's like, that's not the best way to go about it, like, brain like, mentally, that's not the best way to go about it, but also, I just think about how agitated and aggravated I get when I find something now last minute and I can't plan for it, or when I realize I was supposed to do something, now I'm behind, like, the level of stress that you're like, unnecessary stress that you're building up on yourself, that translates into your relationships and whether it's personal or business relationships as well. And I just think that like now for me, it's like, I have a son. I don't want to be walking around snappy all the time just because I'm trying to remember 25,000 things that he never asked to be a part of and he want to sit here and play. And I'm just like, nope, because I just remembered that I got this thing that's due at midnight and now I got to do that. It's priorities, but I think there's just a lot of value in it that a lot of people don't think about. So I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like, it's worth giving it a try if you are not using if you're not blocking off your time and using some type of scheduling system, even if it's very, very minimal, the amount of bandwidth that you could free up in your mind to be yourself, do more things, spend more time with the people that you care about is it's a game changer, really.
Well, I think also the thing that I learned from you that I never did before, but now I do a lot is that focus button on the phone.
Mhm. Do not disturb.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think, and it's funny that they kind of moved. I think now they don't even call it "Do Not Disturb." Do they? Do they still call it
No,
"Do Not
you
Disturb"?
do have a do not disturb still, but now Apple has focus modes, so you can actually customize. So,
Okay,
like, I have a prayer mode, so, like,
okay,
my Bible app can pop up in the prayer mode, and, like, certain people can call me,
okay.
but yeah, and that's really nice too. I don't know, they probably have something like that for Google, but I mean, yeah, the Google phones, but basically, you can set instead of just having do not disturb and you have an allow list or a block list, you can set up custom, so studying,
Mhm.
prayer, workouts, whatever the case may be, like, oh, if it's a workout, but my wife wants to call me, I can make sure I get the call, or I can get calls from the school, that kinda thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you when we start working together and you start doing that, man. I didn't do it immediately. I just started doing it this year. So believe it took me that long to get to that point, but I am so much productive, more productive, especially when I'm writing software or doing something like that when I turn that off. Cuz when you get a message, you got to watch on. You totally connected. You're all in. So every time you get it, you're like, okay, what is this? What is this? Especially, I truly believe in day-to-day money. So I believe in having transactions happen every day in the business. So I'm always like, okay, because you have ads running things of that nature. So you're hoping that that email is like a paid request. Somebody just receipt, just a receipt's happening.
Right.
So it makes me anxious. But by turning on that focus or do not disturb mode, it gives me the ability just to be all in on the activity that I'm working on. And again, it comes back to providing a higher level, for one, being a better human. Two, because if you're interrupting me, I'm probably not going to be as focused in the conversation. And then
Right.
number two, I can build higher quality products, and that can be
Mhm.
whatever it is. It could be I'd be working on a slide. I could be working on something for my kids' school. But whatever it is, the work product is just going to be much higher when I'm able to focus. So thank you for that.
I
It just took me, about 7 years. It took me about 11 years or so to get it together. But I find it fascinating.
But it's funny that you bring that up. I'm glad you brought it up just because I remember, first of all, when I started doing like the do not disturb thing, it offended a lot of people. And like with that whole boundary thing, I had to be okay with that. But it also was funny because I was never one of those people. I was always like, basically like you. You can ping me, you can text me, you can email me, whatever. And I had notifications on for everything. And I remember I did a Seek Camp summer engineering experience for kids with Nesby.
Mhm.
I was a site director in Jackson, Mississippi when we did our first all girls camp. And that summer, it was like I couldn't have my phone on. Like I don't even think I had service for real. I just remember I couldn't have my phone on like all day. So it was like 6 weeks straight basically where I never really was checking my phone. So that was a different experience, and then when I came back home, I was like, I'm so much more refreshed when I'm not constantly being bombarded by things because for me, it's anxiety inducing. Like you said, you have a lot of stuff coming at you, but sometimes you have things that are coming at you that's like, okay, I can handle it, but if it's not like a fire, literally, I need to run and get my baby and get him out of the house right now. Like, I don't need to know about it in this moment. All it's gonna do is distract me, and then you have 2, 3, 4, 5 different things distracting you all at once. So, yeah, that was something that, it actually people a lot of people were offended by me having do not disturb, and they'll be like, "Oh, I text you." People feel like they have, um, entitlement to your time and how you
Right.
respond and when you respond, and it is hard to hold those boundaries for sure. I'm still having difficulties like with holding those boundaries, but I just know what the value is in it. But yeah, that was that I don't care. I will put my phone on do not disturb and I'll tell people like, hey, because a lot of times you might I'm working with the ladies at BD Go Go. So it's like I
Mhm.
had told them in the beginning, like they're like, oh, let's start a text group. I'm like, that's fine, but I just want to let you know I put my phone on do not disturb at times, like, that's
Yeah.
good, but just so you don't expect an immediate response from me at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, I'm probably not looking at my phone, you know what I mean? And just being able to have that safe boundary or distance from other people controlling what you're doing with your day and with your time.
Man, that's like so critical, man. And it took me a long time to get there, but I'm glad I'm there now. So this conversation has been great, man. This has probably
Yeah.
been one of the better conversations, better shows we've had. But just take it out of the show context. We really never sat down and chatted about these type of things before. So, and we work together all the time, and just understanding, your perspective, my perspective. I already kind of knew your perspective, but you understanding that I've learned so much from you around these things,
I
and I'm
I
just
see I see it, I see it.
yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there, homie. So let's do it. Let's go to the next segment of this, is which is your shameless plugs. What are you working on?
Shameless plugs. Okay. Um, I wait, well, do you wanna talk about the DBT stuff, or you got something personal? I've been working on my website, first of all,
Yeah, let's talk
that's the
about
main
that.
thing. Y'all know
Yeah.
I've been talking about it, but it looks so super professional now, so I'm really, like, proud of it.
I'm a dev girl. Let me go
So
there.
yeah, now you can actually see, like, the different categories of content on the site. I started putting the podcast episodes up, all the videos, so that includes Meta Dev Girl podcast, that includes Hacking with the Homies. I will put the Train X episodes up because Train X is the only one who doesn't have YouTube set up yet.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna put, but I just wanted a central place where if you're looking for anything that, any of my content, whatever it may be, you could just come to this one place. So the one thing I'm gonna be adding probably today is I'm gonna embed my live stream so that way whenever I am live, you'll be able to just see it there on the website. So I've been working so hard on that. So I'm super proud of that because I just feel like it wasn't the website wasn't in a place where it was showcasing all the facets of who I am and getting it all organized. So that's my shameless plug there.
That is pretty dope. Yeah, like you just let's just repeat that. Like it didn't show all the facets of Jessica Vaughn. And I think that is
Yeah.
critical because that's one of the things that I want to get there. I'm gonna get there sooner than later, but I think that's critical because I think people sometimes see you and people get seen in different lights, right? So people have different
Mhm.
point of views of you, and having a place where people can kind of see all parts of you is super dope, and it looks super dope, by the way, super good, by the way. I'm just cruising it right now, and it
Yeah,
looks
so
like
I was like,
for
"Let
the,
me just
y'all,
share."
y'all go over there and y'all subscribe to her podcast right now. And then if you want some paid course, I'm gonna be your spokesman. If you want some paid courses, those are coming soon. So wait a minute, I think you already have one. Is the crash course, is
It's
that
those are coming soon,
okay?
yep.
All right, cool. So yeah, those are coming soon. So go over there and support my homie. So make that happen. So for us, I don't really have much that I'm working on like by my self. Well, the only thing that I'm working on is in my head, I need to get it out, is I really want to run a podcast talking about MVP. And that would be
Mhm.
where I would invite some of the people that we work with in the MVP program just to talk about MVPs, like some startups, and then some people that are actually above and beyond startups, but now can reflect back on their MVP process. Because sometimes you just, when you're going through it, you can't really articulate how it made you feel, what was going on, how customers were yelling at you, like
Yeah.
it's better to do it, and sometimes it's better to see it in retro, right? So that, and then the stuff that me and Jessica are working on. So we have the Detroit Hacker House that is happening. So this is where we're looking for tech founders that are looking to build a company. We're gonna put them in a house for basically 3 months almost for them to be able to build this thing. So we have applications opening tomorrow, actually. So you can look at
Yeah.
that. You can see information about that. And we
Or read
also have
DetroitBlackTech.com or .org,
.org. Yep.
blacktech.org. You'll
Yep.
be able to find the info.
Yes. And then Jessica and I are also working on a book around MVP. So that book is going to be called Becoming an MVP Developer. It's a great book for people that are trying to jump into becoming a work with startups, right? Because everybody wants to um I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people, a lot of developers want to work with startups. Is a great way of growing wealth, right? Get in early, get equity, build, grow, learn with these companies. So we want to teach people how to, kind of hone their skills to become a MVP developer, just not a developer, taking those developer skills and making them focus on what startups need. And also, it's a great book for founders to actually read about and figure out the mindset of a MVP developer, so you know what you're looking for, understand how to engage that person properly in order to get the best result for your MVP.
Right, right. Um,
And lastly, oh, go ahead. What was you gonna say?
nope, nope, go ahead.
And then lastly, we'll be working with TechTown again this coming January. Jessica and I will be working with their MVP program, and we're going to have some trainings on a no-code, low-code platform called Adalo. We'll be having a link come out very soon. So for those who want to jump into the space of working with founders, again, partnering with TechTown is a great way of doing that, because they're looking for MVP developers for their MVP program. That's a program where they team together a founder, a non-technical founder, with a actual with a developer, and so we're going to be doing some trainings for that. So yeah, man, that's it. I mean, I know that's like, is that it? Yeah, it's a
That's
lot,
a lot.
but that is what we are working on, and then some of the stuff I mentioned before is what I'm working on.
And that's really, that's always behind the scenes. We always have a lot of things going. So that's why I thought it was important to have this conversation too, because it's so essential. We wouldn't be able to do all the things we do and serve the different communities and programs that we want to support without being able to keep it organized. So last thing I want to point out, since we should just start hyping it up for every episode, is that we already have a date for Hacking with the Homies 2024. So we are moving our conference to May instead of February because snow and stuff like that. So we have we have saved the date for May 11th. So that weekend we will be having our Hacking with the Homies developer conference here in Detroit. So just start getting hyped for that. I'm about to start getting material out for y'all. I've already started talking to speakers and I'm super excited. So if you are a developer in the Black community, we really like to highlight our Black and Brown developers. Even if it's your first time speaking, if you're interested, reach out. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn. I'm not gonna tell y'all to reach out to Mac because he already probably got 1,000 other things going on. But feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Jessica Vaughn on LinkedIn. You can find me, and let me know if you're interested in speaking. But we'll open up the call for proposals here as well. So you can just kind of get your ideas in there. We really like to see folks talking about things that we feel are underutilized or are not really being highlighted, especially to our community for tech, right? So we like to talk about those technologies that maybe you found out a technology at work that you feel like a lot of people don't talk about, but it's a crucial skill to have, or it'll help folks, future proof their careers and things like that. So we're open to all types of talks, but I'm excited for the May conference. It's right before my birthday as well. So yeah.
That's what's up.
All right. Well, that will wrap up our episode for today. Again, feel free to leave us comments. Let us know what kind of topics you want us to cover. If you have any questions, and just give us feedback. If you watch the video, give us a like on YouTube. That really helps. And share it around. And you'll see more content coming from us as well. I think Detroit Black Tech, we can add a page for MVP developer stuff on there. So I'll work on that as well. But you can find anything about the Detroit Hacker House and the MVP developer program on DetroitBlackTech.org. And otherwise, we will talk to y'all soon.
Take care, y'all.